By popular demand, Sean's View Entertainment books Monday Night Raw for tonight, 2/29/2016. The road to WrestleMania continues. Remember, this would be if I were booking things, if I were in charge, if I were the powers that be in the WWE. This is what I would submit, and this is what I would try to have get confirmed and say, all right, this is what we want to happen, or something similar to this. Now remember, you have to counter in commercial breaks. You have to counter in the WWE doing promotion and talking about the network and doing replays of what happened earlier in the night, because we know the WWE likes to do that. So we're going from Seg 1 to Seg 11, booking the entire 3-hour broadcast. The way that this continues, the way that this goes on is if you share my videos on Twitter and Facebook, like, subscribe, and leave your feedback in your comments as to what you thought about this particular series. Remember, the only reason I brought this back, Sean's Entertainment Books Raw, is because it was highly requested in my inbox and on Facebook that I do this. So Brock Lesnar is seen arriving backstage for Raw. Remember, Raw kicks off at 8 o'clock. From out of nowhere, a car tries to run down Brock Lesnar. Who's in the car? Who's behind it? Well, it's the lunatic. It's the crazy one himself, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, though, is, however, armed with a tire iron, unbeknownst to Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar, and let me just, the lead up here is Lesnar's arriving backstage. Ambrose tries to take out Lesnar with the car. He tries to run down Brock Lesnar. He tries to run over Brock Lesnar. But Brock Lesnar was able to get out of the way. Brock Lesnar was able to avoid disaster. So at that point, remember, unbeknownst to Lesnar, Ambrose has a tire iron. Lesnar shoots for the car, all right? He runs for the car, tries to, see what's going to happen here. And Ambrose comes out of the car with a tire iron, nails Lesnar in the stomach, in the breadbasket, in the lower body, and then he slams Lesnar's head off the car. He slams Lesnar's head off the car again, and then again, until the referees and the officials finally come backstage and break up. Remember, this is revenge from last week when Ambrose got attacked by Brock Lesnar backstage. So that's how we kick off Raw. Very, very chaotic, very crazy scene backstage. This goes from around 8 o'clock to 8:07. Then we have the Raw intro. And so now this brings us till about 8:10 now. Paul Heyman kicks off Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman comes to the ring to address the attack that Ambrose just inflicted on Brock Lesnar moments ago. And then, of course, Heyman goes on this huge rant, and this goes on, right? I don't have to give Paul Heyman instructions, and I don't have to tell Paul Heyman what to say. He knows what to say, all right? So Heyman on the mic is brilliant. So Heyman warns Ambrose that there will be consequences to what he has done. He will have to answer to this situation that he has put on Brock Lesnar. But then all of a sudden, Dean Ambrose's music hits. Dean Ambrose comes to the ring, tire iron in hand. Paul Heyman looks absolutely scared. Paul Heyman doesn't know what to do. Paul Heyman's standing there like a soldier. He's frozen, absolutely frozen in danger. But before Ambrose gets into the ring with a tire iron, a bunch of officials and referees come out to stop Ambrose from attacking Paul Heyman. See how I'm leading the show here? See how things are making sense? See how there's continuity and consistency? All right, so they rush to the ring immediately to stop the attack that Ambrose is about to unleash on Paul Heyman. But, ladies and gentlemen, Ambrose takes out his frustrations on the officials, on the referees. He takes them out with the tire iron. Paul Heyman then is able to escape. Paul Heyman is able to avoid disaster this time. And as Ambrose is attacking the officials and referees, Stephanie McMahon comes out and says, all right, this has to be put to an end. So then she calls out the cops. So the cops come out, about 10, 11, 12 cops come out, and they finally stop Ambrose, and they bring Ambrose off to jail. Okay, because, Stephanie McMahon can't have this happening. She cannot have Dean Ambrose running roughshod through Monday Night Raw, right? So I'd say this whole thing lasts from 8:08 to around 8:25, give or take 8:30. Then from 8:30 to 8:55, we have Kevin Owens versus Tyler Breeze, all right? Match doesn't last long. Owens makes short work of Tyler Breeze, but the biggest story is what happens after the match. As Kevin Owens is basking in the glory, enjoying his victory, letting it set in and settle, Kevin Owens is walking up the ramp. But before Kevin Owens can leave fully, you want to talk about stealing the momentum. You want to talk about stealing the spotlight, all right? You want to talk about being the talk of the town. Before Owens leaves fully, out comes AJ Styles. This does not sit well with Kevin Owens. AJ Styles has stole the thunder from Kevin Owens, okay? And Owens and Styles immediately have a huge stare down on the stage, and you can almost feel the intensity between Owens and Styles. And this is what I'm hoping would lead to AJ Styles, Kevin Owens at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. But I don't know if they're leading to Jericho and AJ Styles in a tag team match. I don't know, but this is the direction I would go. And remember, this is me booking. This is not WWE saying this. This is not me pitching the plan to creative. This is if I were on creative. So then AJ Styles comes to the ring after that stare down with Kevin Owens. And then we see AJ Styles versus The Miz in a good back and forth match. Probably the match of the night. And like I said, this whole thing lasts from 8:30 to around 8:55. The stare down, the match, and then AJ Styles' match with The Miz. Shane McMahon, remember, you're going to counter in commercial breaks and all that. Shane McMahon then comes to the entrance ramp. This is around the 9 o'clock p.m. Time frame. Shane McMahon comes out and he announces that he has reversed Stephanie McMahon's decision to throw Dean Ambrose in jail. But then out comes Vince McMahon. He comes to the stage with some kind of he's rolling something to the ring, but it's tarped over. There's a cover over it, so we don't know what Vince McMahon brought to the ring. But this is on stage. So then Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon have a face-to-face confrontation, and Vince McMahon pretty much says, "This isn't the Attitude Era. You know, you aren't in charge yet. You can't run things. You know, it's a whole different time, a whole nother era." Kind of similar to what Vince McMahon said last week to Shane McMahon. But then Shane McMahon reminds Vince McMahon of who he is and what he stands for. And the last time they stood face-to-face in the Attitude Era, Shane McMahon smacked a lip right off of Vince McMahon. He smacked the taste right out of his mouth. And he says, if Vince McMahon doesn't back up any further, I'm going to give you a little example of what's going to happen at WrestleMania when I face The Undertaker inside Hell in the Cell. So then Vince McMahon says, well, we may not have to wait till then. Then the lights go out. And then all of a sudden, Vince McMahon reveals once the lights go back on, he takes the tarp over the object that he brought out, an urn. Vince McMahon now has The Undertaker's urn. He has control of it. He has it. He raises it up. Oh my God, what's that? The Undertaker. The Undertaker appears out of nowhere. Once the lights go out again, the lights come back on. McMahon raises up the urn. McMahon reveals that he is the higher power again. Remember back in the Attitude Era when Vince McMahon shocked the world and said that I'm the higher power. I was the one controlling. I was the one in demand. Well, that's exactly what happened here. So then this would lead to Shane McMahon turning around as the Undertaker looks at the urn being lifted up by Vince. Vince McMahon now controls the fate of the Undertaker. Vince raises the urn up. Shane turns around right into the choke slam. But he doesn't choke slam Shane on the stage. He choke slam Shane off the stage into the production crew that had tables and wires and electronics, and pretty much it blew up. Like when Mankind at the Royal Rumble '99, he got electrocuted. So the announcers at ringside saying, "Oh my God, Shane McMahon has been electrocuted. Shane McMahon is hurt. Shane McMahon is down." So of course, officials and paramedics come out, and so now Vince McMahon reveals he is the higher power and he is in control of the Undertaker's every movement. So I don't know if the Undertaker is so much a heel, but the Undertaker now is in control, and Vince McMahon is at the charge of that. Vince McMahon is at the front and center of this. So what's going to happen now that Vince McMahon has the urn of the Undertaker? He controls the power. So then, ladies and gentlemen, that was the other segment. So now from 9, so that's from the 9 o'clock, 9:15 hour right there. Then we have another match here. We have Braun Strowman versus Ryback. Braun Strowman defeats Ryback. This lasts from about 9:20 to 9:30. This match probably about like 10 minutes long. So Braun Strowman defeats Ryback. Then from 9:35 to 9:50, all right, we have the New Day's Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio gets the victory from 9:30 to around 9:50. Then from 9:55 to around 10:05, all right, we have Triple H doing a backstage segment, okay? Backstage interview. Triple H runs down his accomplishments, his accolades, his history with WrestleMania, and how he's rolled into WrestleMania as champion, how he's going to walk out as champion, and how he's finally going to bury the Roman Reigns empire once and for all. So this lasts from around 9:55 to 10:05. Then tonight, WWE has already booked the match, so I put that in there. 10:10. This starts at Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Ends in a no contest after Charlotte interferes. This then leads to Triple H coming on the Titantron and announcing that it will be a three-way dance at WrestleMania. Charlotte defends the Divas title against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Then from 10:10 to 10:25, that was 10:10 to 10:25, that ends. Then from 10:30 to around 10:38, Dolph Ziggler defeats Kalisto in a non-title match. So maybe this is going to set up a thing between Ziggler and Kalisto going into WrestleMania, perhaps a ladder match. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Then from 10:45 till the end of Raw, Vince McMahon comes back out. Vince McMahon says the complexity of WrestleMania has changed. The plans are now different. With Shane McMahon taken out, I want to have The Undertaker come down to the ring. So Vince McMahon calls out The Undertaker. Vince McMahon still has control of the urn. Okay, remember this. He controls The Undertaker. He has power over The Undertaker like Paul Bearer used to have. So The Undertaker comes back to the ring. McMahon's building up The Undertaker, talking all good about The Undertaker. Looking like he's about to announce that The Undertaker, instead of facing Shane McMahon, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But he doesn't actually say that, but he's building it up. You know what I'm saying? He's giving you the idea that he's about to announce this. The Undertaker, instead of being in a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania, will instead be inducted at the Hall of Fame and will be recognized at WrestleMania in the middle of the ring inside the Hell in a Cell with Vince McMahon holding the urn. But before Vince McMahon can announce this, the return of John Cena. John Cena returns. John Cena comes out on the ramp and announces that he is going to step in for Shane, that he's going to represent Shane, that he's going to stand up for Shane McMahon, and that at WrestleMania it will be John Cena versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. And if John Cena wins, Shane McMahon controls Monday Night Raw. Obviously, Vince McMahon looks shocked. Vince McMahon cannot believe what he is hearing. He cannot believe what he's seeing. He cannot believe that John Cena has returned to Monday Night Raw. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the match. The Undertaker versus John Cena. John Cena's return ends a very stellar, must-see, and entertaining Monday Night Raw. Now, you can't just hear me doing this. You can't just hear this video. You have to visualize this. You have to think about this. You have to see this in your mind playing out. And the way I played this out in my mind, this would be a great Monday Night Raw by my standards. And, we're not really... like I said, I'm not trying to break down the barrier. I'm not trying to go attitude era. I'm not trying to go over the top. But I'm trying to make things entertaining and compelling. This is a Monday Night Raw that would make me want to tune in the next week. And that's what I want at the end of the day. I don't need attitude era. I don't need blood. I don't need foul language. I need the WWE to give me a reason to want to tune in the next Raw. That's all I freaking ask. Like, subscribe, share, and comment for more Sean Viewent Books Raw, and donate to the show. Click the link in the video. Subscribe.